This firmware update shows us that Canon has truly lost something that pros need, while Sony and Nikon continue to lead the way. And while Canon owners wait for a firmware fix for an assortment of issues, Nikon introduces firmware 3.0 with a big update. But first, please punch that subscribe button. It only takes you a second, it's free, and it means an awful lot to us. And it tells the YouTube algorithm that maybe, just maybe, you're not here by mistake. Hi, my name is Simon, and I'm here to bring you the latest camera news so you don't have to go hunting for it. And today we're going to talk about something big that Nikon's packed into their firmware 3.0, while Canon owners wait for, well, whatever firmware update they're supposed to be getting to fix a various assortment of issues with the R5 Mark II, a camera that I'm shooting with right now. So what is the big issue, or I should say not issue, what is the big update that we get with Nikon with their Z8 in firmware 3.0? Well, it's pixel shift, but it's not just pixel shift. The Nikon Z8 is a powerhouse, a mini Nikon Z9, offering much of the Z9's performance in a smaller, more affordable body. With 3.0, Nikon is delivering something that Canon took away with a refresh of the R5 in the R5 II. And this feature that Nikon's delivered could tip the scales in favor of Nikon, especially as they plan for a refresh in 2026 of the popular Z8. And it's not just pixel shift. You'll understand why I'm doing just a dedicated video on this. It's pixel shift with focus bracketing. Pixel shift, if done right, isn't a gimmick for boosting megapixels. By shifting the sensor 1 pixel at a time and capturing multiple exposures, the Nikon Z8 collects full RGB data for each pixel location. This results in more accurate color, almost as good as having 3 sensors as we see in broadcast cameras. It also results in improved sharpness and a dramatic reduction in moire and aliasing, which is why I find Canon's decision to remove pixel shift from the R5 Mark II to be not only frustrating, but puzzling. Pixel shift, if done right, it isn't a gimmick. Sony showed us how powerful this capability can be with the release of the A7R5, providing high-quality images even with moving objects. And while the Sony A7R5 does do a really terrific job, pixel shift is really designed for those shooting, well, in static environments. Think commercial product photographers, fine art printers, architectural shooters, and macro specialists. These are professionals who already shoot at ISO 64, stack exposures, and do pixel peep for a living. To them, every ounce of detail counts. And the Z8, the Nikon Z8, the Mark I, now gives them a whole 180 megapixels of it. So you might be wondering, what makes Nikon's approach to the Z8 in firmware 3.0 so special? Nikon's implementation isn't just about shifting the sensor. The Nikon Z8 is the first full-frame mirrorless camera to combine pixel shift with focus and auto exposure bracketing all in one mode. Definitely a benefit for micro photography, where that depth of field is often, well, razor thin, making focus stacking very difficult to, well, pull off a really good result. With the Nikon Z8 and firmware 3.0, photographers can now capture a series of shots that are not only more color accurate and detailed, but also focus stacked with expanded depth of field, all inside the camera. And this is where Nikon sets themselves apart from the competition. The Sony A7R5 is, well, I know I'm going to upset some people here, but it's really the class leader when it comes to pixel shift. But Nikon's doing something here with that depth of field expansion that really does set them apart from Sony, and certainly Canon. And while Canon introduced pixel shift experimentally in a firmware update for the EOS R5, it then dropped it in the R5 II. Instead, Canon chose AI upscaling for high-res output, an approach that loses real detail in the process, making it functionally inferior for pros who demand pixel-level precision. So, firmware 3.0 for the Nikon Z8, pixel shift with focus bracketing, auto exposure, all in one, that has that depth of field expansion. That's a pretty big deal. I'm pretty excited by this. I'm really happy for Nikon Z8 customers because, well, I own the R5 II, and I was excited to see pixel shift come to the Canon EOS R5 Mark I, but it was pretty limited. But still, when I took shots, there definitely was a boost in resolution. And when doing some sort of certain shots where I'm doing product reviews, that's really handy. Instead, Canon took it away and gave us, well, that AI boost, which, if you do actually punch in a little bit, the AI upscaling, well, it's pretty well nonsensical, eliminating the whole point of doing the upscaling to begin with, so that when you punch in, you can see some detail. And you don't have to shoot wood grain or sand or anything like that to see that it's completely messed up. Plenty of people have talked about it, which is why I'm not going to go into detail here. I am excited by this, so much so that while I'm on vacation here in, well, beautiful sunny Vancouver, English Bay, with a temperature of 72 and a nice breeze of 30 kilometers an hour, or about 18 miles an hour, I'm stopping to create a video so I can let you know what Nikon's up to in Firmware 3.0. And I really do hope that Canon does start to bring out some enhancements to the R5 II. I really would like to see them bring back pixel shift, but do it right. That AI upscaling, I don't know anybody that takes it seriously, certainly not pros, because the whole point of shooting a high resolution image with technologies like pixel shift at 180 megapixels, and again, Canon gives us somewhere around that with the R5 II, but as you punch in, you don't get anything useful, and that's what's really, really frustrating to me. So if you're a Nikon Z8 customers, congratulations. If you're a Sony A7 R5 customer, well, congratulations as well, although you got your camera some 2 to 3 years ago and are probably expecting a refresh of the Sony A7 R6. But for Nikon users, the Nikon Z8 Mark II isn't that far away. It's probably coming out sometime in 2026, with the Nikon Z9 being announced later this year in, I would say, late October, early November. The Nikon Z8 usually does follow a little bit later. Now, the Z9 was announced in October the 28th, and the Z8 followed it the following year on May the 9th, or 10th. Good things are coming. I do like the R5 Mark II. I've shot over 280 gigabytes of footage since I've been here in Vancouver. And that's probably going to go to well over 300 or 400 by the time I'm done. It's a good day. I mean, every day this week so far has been sunny without a single cloud. And the humidity, well, if you jump in the water, it's 100%, but outside the air, it's beautiful. And the breeze is awesome. So yes, I am sort of rambling on here because, well, I can. It's my channel. I like doing this. I really enjoy this. This is something special. Now, I am well aware that at this point, and I believe this is still recording audio. Yep. I am wearing a dead cat. There is a chance that the audio might not be perfect. But as long as it's audible, I'm going to put this out there. Probably tomorrow morning. I mean, it's a holiday here after all, on my vacation. How about that for double stacking? How about that for focus stacking, taking my attention and stacking it one on top of another? Although I'm doing work on a national holiday on my vacation. Some of you might think that there's something terribly wrong with that. Anyhow, thanks so much for tuning in, and please don't forget to subscribe. It really does help support this channel. It only takes you a second. And if you're part of the 1% of the 1% that wants to know what goes on behind the scenes, then go ahead and click that subscribe button, the join button, and join the insider level, where you get to see behind the scenes videos. And I'm going to record one just now. So anyhow, thank you so much for tuning in. Have yourself a great day, and we'll see you again soon.